Good morning, everyone. I'm Jose Matthew, and I'll be presenting today with McCoy Amelie and Cameron Severin about our augmented reality navigation app design. So, before we get started, let me give you a scenario. You're a freshman new to campus without a clue as to where everything is. You've been told to go to the Hun Library to get help with research materials. All you know is that it's located in the student union, but you're too shy to ask for help. You heard during the orientation about the Embry Riddle app that has an AR navigation functionality and decided to try it out. And here I'll hand it off to McCoy to be your tutorial guide through our app.
As stated by Jose, I'll take you through an example of a freshman trying to find the Hunt Library using our school's very own free Embry app. As a freshman student, you open the application and you look for a potential navigation option. Upon not seeing anything immediately, you scroll down to see a familiar icon. It usually represents maps or some type of navigation feature. Unfortunately, it's even titled Maps. You then click this icon, you're taken to the currently displayed screen. From here, you realize that anytime you can select one of these options to receive routing information. Your eyes are set on the Hunt Library. So the library option being so conveniently displayed, you click on the icon. Then you follow up by clicking on Hunt Library. You then notice that you have the option to select an alternative to the usual mapping feature, a built-in AR version. Saying you would rather see where you're going in real time and in real space, you select the option. Now you arrive at this screen, as it informs you to scan the nearest eagle marker. You remember during orientation that these markers can help you navigate the campus, and you were shown an example of how one looks. So you walk over to the nearest possible one, you scan it with your phone. This would lead you to the demo that we would be playing, that will show you how it will be displayed from your phone on your end when you scan an eagle marker.
So now let's take a look at that demo. I'll play this at 2x speed so that I can make this faster for all of us. So in your case of a freshman who needs to find their way to the Hun Library, this is what would happen. You start out at the bookstore entrance and would have had to scan whatever the nearest eagle marker was to let the app get oriented with your location. This would begin the navigation, and as you can see here, the navigation itself is pretty simple and straightforward procedure. There are blue arrows pointing in the direction of where you need to go, and you just simply need to follow them until you arrive at your destination. And now Cameron will discuss some of our usability findings.
So these were our usability testing results. The following recommendations were made for AR prototype by our participants. The first was to put a white outline around the arrows to make them more distinguishable. The next was to allow people to select their own arrow colors. And thirdly, they wanted to see if we could make color variants so that the color would change for the arrow depending on the underlying terrain color. Another was they wanted to see in our testing if users could recover from making a wrong turn. All of our participants were able to identify the arrow's purpose and follow them to the library. And 4.25 out of 5%, 5 was the ranking that we received on our usability test for our surveys. 2/3 of our participants felt like this app would definitely be useful for them, and 1/3 felt like it might be useful.
Based on some of these recommendations we received, we decided to implement a new feature into our design, which McCoy will now show you.
Now let's get back into that freshman mindset. You have now been using this application more frequently. Decide there are some features that you want to modify. So you go to My Profile, then you go to your settings. And from there, you select the AR navigation app settings. From here, you can change the color, arrow type, and arrow size at your leisure.
Moving on toward future work, there are several features and ideas that should be implemented into this design. First up are these 3D floating text assets. These are an easy way of giving the user information during their navigation. There are several areas during the navigation where the path might split, with one taking them through the stairs or the other taking them through the elevator. The floating 3D boxes could be placed where it splits to indicate which is which. You can see this on the picture on the left. These could be placed anywhere, such as to tell the user which elevator to take or which floor to get off on, as well as destination and arrival markers. Next, we would like to use AR Core. AR Core is the leading AR development tool that's used by all the industry giants. Google uses it for their AR navigation app. The biggest advantage of AR Core is its ability to use 3D modeling. 3D modeling is much more accurate, and it gets rid of the need to scan eagle markers since it recognizes the terrain itself rather than relying on these markers. The program will also place the navigation arrows itself rather than us having to do it, which allows the program to be able to correct the path or recommend a new path if you ever go off the path, fulfilling another one of the recommendations from the usability testing. Finally, we have accessibility options. Some of the other AR groups focus more on the accessibility features that are made possible through AR. Because of the way our app is implemented into the school's app, it would be easy to directly incorporate any accessibility features that are ever made directly into the same application, eliminating the need for many different apps. The AR app setting we showed earlier could have these features added to it so that there could be a voice navigation toggle option or a disability navigation option for people who might need that, such as a person in a wheelchair who might only want the elevator route to be shown. And that concludes our presentation. Thanks for watching, and let us know if you have any questions.